Derek Wolf here, the most successful person in the Independence Pro Wrestling locker room, and your Michiana champion. And you're watching Rasslin Rage. Oh!
This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Who's going down? This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey everybody, it is Cody here from Rasslin Rage and MIW and amongst many other things. I'm joined by Zach Thomas, who is on the road. He's on his way to Michigan as we speak. He is booked for UCW up in Saginaw, Michigan, so make sure that you head up that way. Before I ask him any questions, the who, the what, the how, and the why, and all that other good stuff, I want you to scroll down into the description, and I want you to go to Zach Thomas's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I want you to follow him on all three of those platforms. Please do so. That way you can stay up to date on anything that is to do with Zach Thomas. Also, down in the description, you will find links to anything Rasslin Rage or MIW, including Podbean, where you can find the audio of any episode of MIW, Rasslin Rage, and pretty much any interview I've done in the last 2 years, probably, I think, something like that. So there's that. Awesome sauce. Don't forget this weekend, Thursday and Friday, Pro Wrestling All-Stars. If you're not able to get toys to us, Pro Wrestling All-Stars is the way to get toys to us, because all the toys from Pro Wrestling All-Stars events is going to the MIW and Rage Toys for Tots Fund this year. Yay. So, Zach Thomas, my man, what's going on, dude?
Not much, man. One real quick thing that I do want to plug, other than my social media, right off rip. If you go to brainbustertees.com and just search Zach Thomas, I also have the stuff available on there. So
there you go. Go on there. I do
want to thank you and thank the people that are actually listening to this. I will say sorry in advance because, like Cody said, I am on the road going to Michigan, going to the Dread King Logan's house, your homeboy.
Yay. Yeah, well, that's always a good time there. I put a little bit of gain on you so they would be able to hear you a little bit better. So that's good. So let's start out with, first of all, I want to say, all right, we talked about you're on the road, right? I don't know how you guys do what you do on the road because, and I'm just a fan, just to point that out to everybody. I am not trained. I do not take bumps and all that good stuff. And I go to a show, and I've done the triple shot weekend where you go to a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've done all that. And I haven't wrestled every night. And I'm beat. Come Monday, when I go back to work on Monday, I am beat. How in the hell do you guys do it?
As weird as it sounds, I like pain.
Wow.
No, but I don't know. You get used to it, man. I mean, I've done it since 2014. When I was 16, I started training, man, and it just comes natural. Yeah, like after the first couple weeks and whatnot, trust me, it sucks. You have rope marks on your back, on your legs. Your body's definitely sore and stiff every day.
Right.
It was hard, but I mean, I learned to adapt to it.
Okay. So you said you started training when you were 16. So tell
Yeah.
me, because I've heard a lot of different stories on people. Some people saw a commercial. Some people, I've interviewed people that back in the day when it was the radio ads and whatever else. But what was it that got you? Were you a fan as a child and then came up watching and then said, I want to be a pro wrestler? Or what's the story there?
So, yeah, I was definitely a fan as a child. But the only reason for that, I don't always say this, but most of the world already knows. But my older brother is Gregory Iron. So that was one of the main reasons why I got into wrestling.
Okay.
He was my inspiration for that. Considering his circumstance, him being one-armed and dangerous, and having cerebral palsy, that was definitely my main reasoning into going into wrestling. But at the same time, I had my own love for it,
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, I remember he wrestled Dread King at XICW. But wrestling, where did you get trained at? Where did you go? Who'd you seek out?
So in 2014, a guy by the name of Ricky Shane Page decided to open up a school called the Roaring Elbow Academy.
Okay.
And my brother Greg said if I was going to train early, that is the only place that he trusts me to go because him and Ricky are really good friends. So I got my dad to sign on it, luckily, and it just went from there.
All right. So now, are you still training with Ricochet Page, or are you in another place?
So I currently don't train, and he also ended up closing his school down.
Okay.
I think like a couple years after it opened, and then in 2018, when I was starting to get back into wrestling, I started training at Absolute Intense Wrestling School. It's AIW Academy in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Ohio has, even though I'm a Michigan guy and I know you're an Ohio guy, and we could go to war just about that in itself. But there is, traditionally speaking, in the Midwest, there is a very strong wrestling history. In Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, even further south down into Kentucky and so on and so forth. Ohio is really well known. There's like this, I don't know, it's like the wrestling belt, I suppose. There's, what's up with that, man? What's up with all the wrestling in Ohio?
I don't know, man. I think it's just everybody and their brother thinks they can be a promoter and they think it's easy. Because I'll be honest, a lot of the companies that are out here aren't that good. I mean, like, there's a few that are actually legitimately good. I mean, yeah, there's a start for everything, but, there's a lot of shitbags out there that are literally just marks that they get some sort of money to pay the wrestlers. And then they just think, oh, crap, this is the easiest thing ever. But trust me, it fails.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, we get those stimulus package promotions every once in a while. We've had a couple. That's what Sean Sis can contest to that as well. Now, as far as you're a traveler, dude, you travel all over the place. You're not just in Michigan, you're not just in Ohio, but you're all over the place. So, what do you like traveling, or is it something that you're not fond of?
There's the good and the bad.
Right.
Like the bad is being stuck in for 8 hours with 6 people, each other, no room to breathe whatsoever. But then again, the good that comes out of that is you get to bond with those people. You get to figure out who they are. And not only that, you get to actually sightsee and see places you haven't seen before. Like, without wrestling, I can honestly say I wouldn't be working or going to half the places that I've gone to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last year, I believe, I went to Florida for the first time for WrestleMania weekend, which was awesome,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, put that on the bucket list, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I actually got to wrestle too that weekend, so it was great.
Right. I'm getting. I don't. I'm not. I don't want you to tell people how old you are, but I'm getting a little bit older, and I'm not. I mean, I'm not like incredibly old, right? I'm not like retirement age yet, or in retirement home age. Not even close.
Right.
However, I am finding myself wanting to check off those items now, right? Like, because I feel like now's the time because man, I'm halfway there is the way I look at it, right? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
is wrestling you're a wrestler. Are there things in wrestling that's on a bucket list for you?
I really haven't really thought into depth of that. I mean, the only real bucket list thing that I have is obviously like anybody else is to get a contract.
Right.
I mean, it's so easy nowadays, so you really have to put in the work,
Right. Well, there is the people that do have contracts, but then there's also the people that don't and that are, in business. I wouldn't say they're in business for themselves because that's, we know what that means, but
right.
they're in business. They're how would I? They're their own company, right? They're a private contractor, and they make money, and they do pretty well for themselves that way. With merch sales and traveling the country, and they're not on a major thing. Would you be okay with doing that as well, or do you?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, just like anybody else, I'll be honest. I have shoot jobs outside of wrestling. It is what it is. You got to do what you have to do to pay the bills. You know what I mean? I love for wrestling to be what I live off of.
Right.
I mean, I've been trying for 6 to 7 years. I mean, nothing's taken off yet, but the last 2 years is obviously the most I've traveled, and that might have been my downfall in the beginning, but I'm everything right.
Well, I mean, there's definitely a positive to traveling everywhere because there are more eyes. Obviously, more eyes are on you, and I know that you and the Dread King recently participated in a tournament at Ruthless Pro Wrestling's Boiling Point 2 in Maybe, Michigan. I swear to God, when I heard that town name, I thought it was a work. I swear to God, I thought like, oh my God. But regardless, I called that shit. I just want to point this out. I called it from the beginning. I said Midwest Scum would be the brand new RPW champions, and they are in fact the champions.
That we are. I mean, I appreciate you actually picking the right team out of many.
Right.
I'll say this: we are the first ever. We are the longest reigning, and we still are your tag team champions.
Right. So that's good. So,
it is.
You guys had if looking at the tag teams that were in that tournament, that's a pretty huge feat. There were some pretty good teams in there.
Oh, most definitely. The Rejects by far were the hardest team to go up against. However, DTA is very, very well known in the Michigan territory and actually other, states as well. They bust their ass, and that was a very, very hard first round. But they just don't hit quite as hard as the Rejects.
Right. Yeah, well, those are some big dudes too.
Oh, big time. And then Fear and Loathing, man, that was just something in itself, man. Like, you had a giant goose out there. You got Kenny Urban. You got Joseph Swartz or Swartzy. That man himself is a freaking wild man.
Right. For sure. Absolutely. That's great. So let's talk
also,
a little. Okay, go ahead.
Let me throw this out there. I do want to just clear the air. we did not tap out Kenny Urban. We may or may not have took a chair to Swartz's head and got the 1, 2, 3. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Midwest Scum, because tomorrow on the Rasslin Rage YouTube channel at 7 p.m., I believe it is a match. It's a last man standing match between you and the Dread King Logan, your tag team partner in Midwest Scum. Because you guys didn't start out as buddies. Like, you guys didn't like each other at first. I remember this. I remember these. And there was several matches that led to the eventual forming of Midwest Scum and the two of you. So tell me a little bit about this. Oh man, would you call it a war? I mean, that's kind of what it was, because when you two would hit each other, it was like two trees fighting.
It's exactly that. So I mean, when me and Logan first faced off, the first time I hit him, legitimately in the match, this dude goes and says, "Finally, someone that can effing work." And then he hit me as hard as he can. And from there, I mean, we liked each other ever since. He told me legitimately that he did not like me before we wrestled. He felt like I had some sort of ego and chip on my shoulder that he wanted to basically dethrone off me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then from there, I mean, it just built to us being best friends, man. I mean, it's a brotherhood that can't be broken.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely working. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're the RPW tag champs, and who knows what's next? Who knows?
You book us against any tag team, put the titles on the line, we'll take it.
Right. Well, you know, let's talk a little bit about your outlook, right? So here we are. We're at the end of 2021. Thank you, Jesus. Right? Okay. We're going into 2022. Should we as fans out here and the people watching or listening here later on, or however they're doing it, what are they going to expect, or what are they going to see out of Zach Thomas in 2022?
Well, let's just put it this way. At the end of 2021, as of right now, I am in the best shape of my entire life, and that is due to the Dread King Logan. That man is like no other. He's inspirational as can be. And what I am going to tell the people is it's grime time. Next year, you can see the Dread King Logan and Zach Thomas travel state to state, making Midwest Scum known worldwide.
That is badass, actually. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick. That's sweet. I like that.
Man, that was sarcasm, bro. What are you doing?
I really think that's a great idea. I mean, I've talked about this a few times with I don't know how many different people, but the bubble, right? There's the bubble. We're in this area, you know, we're in the bubble.
Yep.
And a few people have popped out of the bubble, and then there's a few others, and you see them. They're ready. They're right there, and they need to just go through that son bitch, and it's on and popping. And I could start throwing a few names out there, but this is a Zach Thomas interview, so we're not going to do that. But
absolutely,
you know, Dread King Logan's in the chat, and he made a comment because, you know, I said the two trees fighting, right?
Yep.
He says brick trees? Question mark.
Yes, brick trees.
Brick trees. It was definitely. I actually was, when I was uploading the video or what have you of that match from Pro Wrestling All Stars. There's a point where you guys end up outside of the ring, and you guys are just hitting each other across the chest, and it's just thud, thud, thud. You know, and it reminded me. I don't know if you remember this movie, but it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and it's Kickboxer. And the dude's it's the match. His brother's getting ready to get in the match before his brother's back gets broke in the match. And the guy's back there kicking the freaking pole and just sitting there kneeing it. That's what it reminded me of. You guys are like these two studs, right? Like of a house. You know, the foundation of a house, and just beating the fuck out of each other. And it's just, I don't even know how you two are.
This is what I will say to you and to the people.
Okay.
It's totally different going in there and facing someone you've never faced before. But when you go in there with someone that you faced multiple times, but not only that, you've began to bond and make a brotherhood with, you go in there balls to the wall, dude. You go harder than anybody can.
Okay, I like that. So what drives you? Because listen, everybody can go to work, right? Everybody can go to work and then go home. Everybody can go to work and go home, and then on a fucking, what's today? Thursday? On a Thursday, travel to Michigan because they're going to a show on Saturday in Saginaw. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what drives you to do those things? What drives you to say, you know what, I need to get my ass in that car and I need to go do this? Or I need to go, you know, out and do the things to get booked. You know what I'm saying? What drives you?
So let's just put it this way. Last year, I've really hit the road for many reasons. And one, because I want to get dad. I know that's not, you know, like I'm looking for the money, quote unquote. That's what people are going to think. But no, I've just been dealt a hand throughout the years where it hasn't been easy for myself. It hasn't been easy for my family. So I want to give back. I want to help. But not only that, like on this journey right now, if I don't get signed, I don't get signed. I just want to, one, help the newer guys and do what I can. You know, I mean, this is the hardest, one of the hardest business to be in.
Yeah, I can only, I'm not in, but I understand. Does that make sense to you? You know, like,
yes,
where I'm at, I understand. From my perspective, I understand because how hard it is for me to do things. And I can only fathom how hard it is for you mentally, physically. And you know what I'm saying? Because there's been some barriers I've had to break through, but nothing like I would have suspected you guys would have to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, like, I guess you could say this is my escape from reality because let's be honest, the world freaking sucks, man.
Right.
And I love every aspect of
Burn
wrestling, and I will do whatever I can to make my name known and just, you know, be able to help people. That's really all I want to do.
Well, you know, I remember the last time you were on, which was the first time. This is your first time on by yourself, but when you and Dread King came on before Ruthless Pro Wrestling, it was that week before. It was that Wednesday or Thursday before, and there was a lot of ideas and, like, you know, you folks didn't get to hear that stuff. Sorry, but there was a lot of things I hear from you guys that are awesome ideas and great things, and it sounds like the both of you together are going to be an unstoppable force, not only here in the state of Michigan, but throughout the entire country, as you said, because how do you do things? You have to dominate the entire world, and you are, you know, the best friend of the creator and the destroyer. So there's
Absolutely,
that.
man.
There's that, you know, always that.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling to Michigan right now, and do you know what you got going on in now I keep saying Bay City, but you know, Saginaw, you know what you got going on up there?
I don't. All that I have heard is more than half the matches have stipulations, and the stipulations are picked by the fans.
Oh, damn.
So I don't know who I'm facing. I don't know what type of match I'm in.
That can get a little hairy.
Oh, big time.
I mean, I hope it's like the fans have picked, like, there's like 5 approved or 6 approved stipulations that the fans come up with written on a thing, and then they pick, something along them lines, not just like all of a sudden, oh, fans bring the weapons and somebody's got a fucking machete or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
I ain't getting paid enough for that.
I get it. I mean, I understand. It's still one of them things. Fans are crazy. We get a little nuts sometimes. And
you ain't kidding.
Yeah, I love, as a fan, one of the things that I love the most is the pure raw emotion. And I love, like I talked about one time, it was when Detroit Punk won the trios titles for Pro Wrestling All-Stars, and there was a kid off to the side, and he was so excited that they had won. He was almost in tears, like, oh my God. And he just wanted to be, he was so happy just to be in the room. Those are the moments. Those are why I enjoy pro wrestling, and more so indie wrestling than anything, because those moments you actually get to witness. That kid wouldn't have felt that when some bigwig wins the title and he was 18 rows back and doesn't even get to see him.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, that's one of the many reasons why I love wrestling. Like, some of the fan interactions are weird as can be, but then again, you have these heartful, like, touching moments with some of these fans. Like, there's times when you'll get them come up to you and be like, oh man, you really helped me get through this, that, and the other. And it's like, me, a person that is just trying to make a living for myself, I did that for you. Yeah. I mean, it's wild to have that happen.
Right. It's you. I don't know how, like, because I kind of understand, because I was a karate instructor for a while. So the kids looked at me as like, do no wrong, I was perfect. In their eyes, I was like the best black belt known to man and could do nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how a lot of people see you in wrestling, right? I mean, kids in more so than anything, right? They're gonna be like, dude, you're the shit. And that kind of influence on people, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot that can weigh on you too. You know what I'm saying? Does some
Absolutely.
of that shit get to you sometimes?
Oh, there's been plenty of times. Like, literally, there's been a time where I was working for MCW in Marion, Ohio, and I'm making my entrance, and this little girl out of the crowd randomly comes up and like hugs my leg, and it's like, that was a cute moment, man. It's like, that almost made me cry, because like, why? How do I have this effect on certain people?
Right. Yeah, that's a different one. I've never ever seen that before. That's
it blew my mind. I'm like, am I getting ribbed right now?
Right. Were you playing a good guy at the time?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then it does kind of make sense. I mean, but at the same time, so I want to say thank you for joining us, and everybody out there, I just say this to you. This is the first interview on is usually the get to know you interview, and I feel like I've got to know them a little bit better. And of course, there's going to be more. There's always more. How many times
Absolutely.
has the Dread King been on now? I've lost count. I remember one time, I think it was during the pandemic, the Dread King came on, and he was in his kitchen, and he was cooking steaks. And I said, how have you been doing? And he says, well, let me tell you, Cody, I've been doing, what did he say? Something about I've been eating steaks and kicking ass or something like that, dude. It was fucking badass, dude. The best opening line ever in the history of Rasslin Rage, I gotta say.
Yo, so his go-to line in the kitchen when his kids are in there messing around, bro, is "Duck Q, get the F out of my kitchen."
Listen to this guy. Get out of the kitchen. Well, that guy eats meat. Like, are you
Dude.
are you in the same diet?
No. So the diet that I am on is I literally went to intermittent fasting,
Okay.
which it sucks.
I bet.
But you definitely see, I've seen a huge difference in like 2.5 months. It worked so quick. Like the way my work schedule was like I had enough time to eat in the morning. I couldn't eat throughout the day. So then after I got off work, I would go to the gym. After the gym, I would go home, eat. That's literally all I would do. And then I've lost over 30 pounds. I'm in the area of like 202 to like 198 on a good day.
What? If you don't mind me asking, where were you at?
230.
We need to talk, homie. Like,
oh, absolutely. I'm actually trying to convince Logan to do that. He started to do that this week, actually.
I got the dad bod central going on here, bro. This big old.
Hey, man, if you are willing and capable of actually doing it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'll throw this out there. I still eat like complete garbage, man, but it's just spread out throughout the day. So it's not like fully going right to my stomach, you know?
Right. Yeah. Dad bod needs to go, man. I got a huge, ho, ho, you know what I mean? Anyways.
Yeah, you dye that beard a white. You're good.
Yeah. I could work the corner. Well, no, never mind. Anyway. That's kind of scummy. I wouldn't do that. Anyways, no, I'm just joking. So
hey, we're here for the scumminess.
Right, for sure. Again, everybody that is out there, if you're watching live or listening on any of the places that you can listen, please do me a favor. Go into the description of the podcast or on YouTube or wherever you're at. Follow Zach Thomas on his Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, as he said, what was the Brainbuster Tees, right?
Yeah, brainbustertees.com. You can look me up by Zach Thomas up on there, and it should pull up my store and what I have up on there.
Well, can I let you in on something? Are you ready for this? All right, you're sitting down, right? Oh yeah, you're driving. Never mind. All right, so I am started a Michigan indie wrestling wrestlers database, right?
Okay.
So you are, and it's on the MIDub page, right? Not the group, the page. So I list all that shit. So now I have to go. Your social media shit's there already, but I didn't know you had a Brainbuster. So now I got to add your Brainbusters.
You know, the reason why people don't know that is because I don't advertise it as much. I only have like one design up on there, so I feel like it's almost pointless because I haven't seen a sale when I have promoted it. So,
well, got to start promoting that shit.
True. Hey, 2022 is going to be a changed year. Don't you worry.
That's what I'm saying. There we go. I like the way you're thinking, dude. I like the way you're thinking. So remember, follow this man. Check him out at UCW up in Saginaw on Saturday. And then obviously when RPW comes back in Michigan here in January, it's what, the 27th, I think it is? 29th. See, I was close. I can't remember everything.
It's one of the two. I don't know. I have it in my calendar, guys.
Right, there you go. So it's in January anyways. Check him out there with Midwest Scum as his tag team partner, the Dread King Logan. And then anywhere else, you know, or the best way, you know how the best way for you to keep intact and know what he's got going on? Follow him on social media, dude. Duh. Anyways, so thank you, Zach Thomas. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Make sure you smash the thumbs up. And again, thank you to Mr. Zach Thomas, my man.
Hey, well, thank you for having me on, Cody, and thank you for everybody that has tuned into this episode. I know it was boring and long. And again, I do want to apologize to everybody that may or may not be able to hear me good, but
We got
Is
you.
what it is.
Right? It is what it is. We got it. All right, everybody. We are out of here.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.